recording in session? Yes. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. Let's go ahead and go over some rules for the exam tomorrow, okay? Rule number 1 is going to be to communicate. So if you're not understanding something during the exam, we would like for you guys to communicate with us. So we'll explain how to do that in just a moment. And so the requirements to take the exam is you have to have 90% of the core assignments complete. All right. So for web fundamentals, that means you have to have all 7 core assignments done. All right. And for today's explanation, let's save question till the very end so that we can get through all the rules here. All right. Procedures are this. At 9 a.m., we're going to start the day. All right. And I'm going to send a message on Discord with 2 things here. I'm going to send the exam instructions and the exam code. All right. Myself and Christian will be in the Zoom room as usual. Please ask us for help if needed. Okay, I'll explain how to do that exactly. And from 8 a.m., from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Mountain Time, there will be the morning office hour. So you probably want to use that if you're having any doubts about any rules that you're not completely understanding. Christian will be there, so you'll have him to ask any help if you feel like you need it. You know, before the time we start the exam, this is the time to review, like I said, any rules that you may have. You know, eat breakfast, drink coffee, go to the bathroom if you need to, get that all out of the way so that you're completely free of any, you know, hangups that you might have to get started and completely focus on the exam. Okay. You also want to set up your folders the way we usually set up folders. You don't want to spend any, if you feel like you don't know if you're going to do well in the exam, this is always a good tip. Set up the folder, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files. Make sure they're connected because you're going to know, you're going to need all 3. Please take care of this. Can you guys see my screen all right? I'm not seeing the outline.
No,
yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Set up your folder, set up an images folder. You will have images that we'll give you. Okay. What else here? And the exam, at the latest, we're going to start at 10 a.m. You can start early if you'd like I said, at 9. If you start unreasonably late, for example, like at 11:30, then that's an automatic failure. Okay, you need to start on time. The exam is 5 hours long, and it starts exactly when you input the code. I'll explain more how the code and the exam is going to work in just a moment here. You have to stay on the Zoom call the entire meeting. Okay. So you can't leave, for example. I mean, if you have to step away and go to the bathroom, that's fine. Don't leave the call though. You have to stay connected on the call. All right. And you have to be in your own private breakout room. So we'll have an individual room for each one of you. You have to go to a room, and you cannot share, you cannot jump in anybody else's room. We're going to be monitoring the rooms the whole time. Stay in your own room. You won't need to have your camera on. You won't need your mic on, and you won't need to share your screen at all, but you have to be present. Okay. And on the day of the exam for attendance, there's not going to be any afternoon session. So once you do the exam, you're clear for the day. Okay. For people that are not taking the exam, all right, I'm going to post a Discord message for you to react to attendance anyways. So you have to be there even if you're not taking the exam. And if you are taking the exam, you have to be present the whole day. All right. So you're allowed up to 3 exam takes. And the last take will be on Friday. Please try to complete it at least by the 2nd take, because Friday will be Very interesting lesson on Friday morning. So make it your goal. All right. But if you don't make it by Friday, don't worry. Friday's just about the exam. Don't worry about the lecture you're missing. And the exam they will ask for a zip file submission and a video. It will ask for a video, but you do not need to submit a video. We only want you to submit the zip folder. So everyone knows how to do this, right? I'm assuming. Let's give me a 10 if you don't know how to, or if you do know how to submit a zip folder. In case someone only worked with GitHub. You had to submit your assignment somehow to even be eligible to take the exam. So you have to know how to do this. All right. Next, I'm the instructor and the timer isn't. So I'm not going to penalize you for the time spent waiting in the waiting room for help once you're ready to be graded. All right. If we take extra time, then, don't worry about that. But know that there's a difference between submitting the zip file and waiting for us to grade you. Okay, so have that in mind. Submit the zip as soon as you're ready to be graded. Okay, all grading is going to be done live on Zoom. So you're going to share your screen, and we're going to look at your code while we have the zip file on our end as well. Okay. When you're ready to be graded, please let Christian and I know that you're ready. You'll do this by sending this message on Discord. You have to tag me and Christian this way in the chat. Everyone will see when you're ready. Okay. And tell us I'm ready to be graded in this room. So you have to tell us the room name you're in. Okay. Then we'll go to your breakout rooms and we'll grade you there. And grading is not the submission. As I've already stated, submit the zip file when you're ready. And then just wait in line for us to be ready for us to grade you. Okay. So the grading rubric is out of 10. And you will need an 8 out of 10 to pass. Okay. There is no levels of passing. There's just pass or no pass. All right. After you have scored at least an 8 out of 10, the rest is just for yourself. It's for a personal challenge. You just need to get those 8 out of 10. My suggestion is just try to go for a 10. Yeah, always go for a 10. Okay, don't just meet the minimum requirements, because if you somehow miss something that you think you would have passed, and you don't, then you will not have passed, right? So always aim for a 10. Don't just meet the minimum if you have extra time. Okay, if you don't have any extra time, then don't worry about it. 8's the best you can do. Don't worry. Say it's pass or no pass anyways. Again, this is the way to message us. Okay. You say @dojo _ Joshua Venegas _ dojo, @dojo _ Christian _ land. And then I am ready to be graded in my exam room on my exam in room so-and-so. Okay. Do not direct message us on Discord. Like I've stated before, I don't know what your screen name may be, and sometimes the direct messages just go undetected. Okay. Message us this way in the room. Okay. When you do ask us for help, okay. Actually, this one should say, I need help in. So this is about asking for help. Okay. This is the message for telling us when you're ready to be graded. Don't message us directly on Discord. This applies to grading as well, grading or asking for help. and then ask your question. Don't worry if we can answer it or not. Just let us decide. Ask what you're going to ask, and we'll let you know. Okay. Remember the 20-minute rule, which is if you get stuck on something for 20 minutes and you can't figure it out, then ask for help. Okay. Don't ask your cohort mates, though. That's forbidden. They spell forbidden. I'm assuming that's right. And if you're not getting the help you need immediately, just move on. Okay. Move on to something else on your page that you know that you can work on, that you can fix. Don't get hung up on, for example, this morning when we were working on the nav bar, I may have spent a little bit too much time on perfecting the height, the width distance of certain items on the nav bar. Get the big picture of the exam first, then work on the details. Then work on the details. Okay. How to get the exam page. Open your Learn dashboard, and on the right there is a Learn link. Click on that. So let's go ahead and see if I can show us here. So go to Learn platform. And then my version is a little bit different here, but bear with us here. So on the top right, there's a Learn link. Click on that. And then it says
to any of the you can actually go to any of the page. If you go up a little more, you have an area called Take Exam. So you can just click on the Take Exam. Yeah, for any stack, you just do the same thing.
Yep. So here it is. Here's the page. We're going to give you a code, and that's going to unlock the exam. Okay. Where was I? Top right, Learn link. Click on that. And the top of the page is the Take Exam link. Click on that, and a new tab will open. You'll enter the exam code. All right, we went over that. All right, what is on the exam? You're recreating a website wireframe with HTML and CSS, and you need to implement 3 JavaScript features. Again, we need an 8 or higher to pass. So that's the minimum, as we already stated. Okay, now let's go over some plagiarism rules. All right. If you search on Google or GitHub, Coding Dojo, Yellow Belt exam, and copy the code and submit it, that is plagiarism. Okay. If you take someone else's work and submit it as your own, that's plagiarism. Okay. If you talk with your cohort mates, that's plagiarism. Okay. This is a solo exam. Remember, plagiarism is bad. You'll get in big trouble for that. You'll get expelled. Let me just write that down. If you plagiarize, you will be expelled. Okay. What isn't plagiarism? You can use code snippets, okay, and portions of code, tiny little pieces of code here and there. If you get stuck and you do a Google search and you find a certain rule that you're looking for, you can take that. If it works for you, and if it's not a lot of code, then you can take it. So let's see here. What can you use? Let me type this out as we go. You can use Google, W3 schools, Stack Overflow, and websites like this. Okay. You can use the Learn platform. And you can use your own notes and assignments. You can use my lecture code as well. And if you ask for help and we help you, then you can use the code. Okay, so use the code that we can guide you with. All right. So let's go over, we just want to reiterate some of the reasons why you shouldn't plagiarize.
Oh, one reminder, using ChatGPT is going to be a plagiarism.
Oh yeah, that's a new tool.
Remember that. So according to Coding Dojo, I know it's new, so but we have another understanding that if you use any ChatGPT for the exam to help you to generate any code, those will be like plagiarism for the exam. So don't do that. We don't want to expel any of you.
Okay, you will be expelled for plagiarizing on your exam. And if you plagiarize on your assignments, sorry, scared me. If you plagiarize on your assignments, you'll get an academic probation. And make okay, that's enough about assignments. Let's go back to talking about the exam. For example, if you plagiarize in the industry, what that means is you'll be a cause for lawsuits, and you will okay, let's say you go through the entire programming, let's say you go through the entire program and you cheat and you're not caught. Okay, when you have an employer, when you get employed and your employer asks you what you've done, you won't be able to give a good answer. You won't actually know how to code, and you feel shame in yourself for having cheated. Okay, so to prove to yourself you can code, or to your employer. Okay, now let's go over some general tips that I will give before taking the exam. Okay. Number one is get some sleep. Okay, a lot of us want to prep as much as we can, but if you don't get sleep, you won't be able to think straight. Okay, don't load up on so much coffee that you get nervous as well. Okay, and then you just start to freak out. Take small breaks from your computer. Sometimes when we get stuck on a problem, all we need to do is step away for a little bit. When I'm coding in front of you guys during the exam prep or during other lectures, if I get stuck for a minute, what I would normally do is just step away and just think about it. When I come back, I have fresh eyes. All right, but I have Christian here, and he's always checking me, and he's always able to help me. So anytime I get stuck on a small detail, for example, like today's exam prep, when I had the 0 on the for the JavaScript part, I could have noticed that maybe if I just stepped away for a little bit and then just thought about it. Okay, but if you need to take 5 10-minute breaks, don't take too long. Okay, then you'll lose your focus. What else? Everything you need to know for your exam has been in your assignments and in the Learn platform. So don't worry about something that we haven't done yet. Everything that will be on the exam we've already covered in the assignments or on the Learn platform. So that's a relief, right? If you've done the assignments, if you've watched the lectures, then you'll be well prepared for the exam. Okay. Don't watch the clock religiously. All right. You'll start to panic. You won't know how well you're doing on time. Okay, set timers. One, we're halfway through the exam. See if you've completed half of the exam already, and then set another timer for when you have 1 hour left on the exam. Okay. Don't panic while you're taking the exam. Sometimes you're able to have a last minute epiphany, and that's a normal thing. Okay. The exam is just an assignment with a time limit. Think of it that way. Okay. Don't forget to ask for help. And set up your project folder ahead of time. I already said this, but I'll reiterate it. Set up your project folder ahead of time. This will save you at least 5 minutes, right? Make sure everything is connected. Make sure your files are properly named and connected. And redoing your core assignments is a good way to practice. Okay. Now, with this being said, I want to go over the rules that we already went over, the grading rubric. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that now.
And before the rubric, there's one small reminder for the exam. So remember that if you want to attempt the exam, you have to complete 90% of the core assignment. And because we only have 7 core assignments, that means you have to complete all the assignments before you attempt the exam. So if you are not there yet, it's okay. Try to take your time and try to finish it today so that you can take it tomorrow. If you need an extra day, it's also fine. You can take the exam like Thursday, it's still good, but try to do it as soon as possible, because if you fail, you can still retake it. Yeah. So remember that 90% for all the stats, like 90%, then you can attempt the exam.
Okay, so one thing, thank you, Heidi. One thing you'll want to do is check your own code. Okay. Before you submit your exam, use this validator. Okay, we'll link the validator in the chat as well. But this is the validator. It's on the platform. If you go to JavaScript, you go to the yellow belt section under the yellow belt, and you click this link. The link is here as well, but here's the validator. Okay, you go to W3 Schools, or you can just Google HTML validator, HTML validator. Why did my search become Yahoo? I don't know. Okay, anyways, you click here, and then you click there. It's the first link, either Yahoo or Google search. You saw that there, right? W3 markup validation service, validate by direct input. You paste your code into here, and it will tell you if there's missing any opening or closing caret tags, if you use a duplicate ID, so on and so forth.
Hey, Joshua, I have a question for you all. When it comes down to like validation and everything, is there one for like CSS also, or is it just mainly for HTML files?
Just HTML, only
Okay.
HTML. Yeah, you know, like if you make a mistake on your CSS, generally you guys should know this, the whole file will break. You know, if you miss a semicolon after a rule, put a rule after, it just won't work. But HTML can work with some slightly broken code, but we want to check against that. All right, that's 0.5 points. What else here? You must have it in, all files must be included in the proper format. You have to call your HTML file .html. You have to call your CSS file CSS file. And your images must be in the folder of your exam project folder as well. Okay. And then that's 5 points. And then I will also give you 1 point based on my judgment of the quality of your exam. That's why these code reviews are important. You get to see how I judge your work. Some of you, I will tell you directly, this is really good. I'm only just going to be extremely picky here. Some of you, I'll say, you know what, what do you think you need to change here? Because it's pretty obvious already. There's way too much space here. This is not properly aligned, etc. Okay, so I'll be the judge here. For HTML, all content, text, images, and assets have to be present, have to be aligned as we see in the wireframe. Okay, that's 1 point. Apply the correct HTML tags to display, for example, div, text, list, tables, media, forms, and basic structure. That's 0.25 points. Okay, that's not weighed that heavy, but it's still important. Implement the best practices for source code readability, such as indentation or comments. So please put comments in your code. It's going to make it look all the better. If you comment between sections, you guys saw how I did it today. When I'm working on the header, I'll say this is the header. When I'm working on the cards, the weather cards, I'll say below is the card section. Okay, it doesn't have to be too heavy, but just make divisions in your HTML and CSS as to what you're working on. This is going to help you as well. So please keep this as a practice of yours. Okay. Now let's go to the next section, create web page layouts using HTML and CSS. Okay, major components are appropriately positioned and placed in reference to other elements. 0.5 points. So as you can see, these rules are kind of similar to each other. I'm judging based on whether you have, if you have a, your codes, if the view of it reflects the image that we have given you. Okay, subsections are appropriately positioned and placed in reference to other elements. Okay, so the subsections of your code, the parts of your code, the minor parts are positioned well in reference to other elements. You know that if you don't position them well, things will be out of order anyway. So name them appropriately and put them in the right place. Using consistent color schemes, that's easy, right? You just copy and paste the same color that you would use as a theme if you see that there's the same color theme on the image. So that's not too hard, but it's 0.25 points, so that's a quarter of a point. The next one, next 0.5 half point is element spacing and styling, use best practices. So don't use these rules, position, relative or absolute, or float. Okay. Now, the next rule is apply appropriate styling through the CSS to text, headers, paragraphs, form elements, etc. The CSS is applied through linking an external style sheet. So don't apply inline styling into the HTML. We haven't done that anyways. I've seen you guys have been pretty good about this. Apply the style in the CSS. Sometimes when you do an internet search, you'll see a result of them putting the style in the HTML. Even if that works and that makes the HTML behave accordingly, don't put style in the HTML, put it in the CSS, separate them. Okay, that's one whole point. That's an easy one. And lastly, worth 2.5 points, a heavy one is JavaScript. All right. So there's going to be 3 JavaScript features, and one's going to be worth 0.5, 1.25, and so on and so forth. So 2.5 points for each missing feature. So get all 3 features if you can. All right, so like let's say you get all of these points and you don't get any JavaScript on your page, that's a 7.5 that you've earned. So you need to have at least one JavaScript feature in order to pass the test. Okay, you've seen how we've done the alert, the remove, and then there's other more difficult ones that you may be able to find out as well. But they're all on the assignments that we've worked on, and they're all on the platform. Okay, so let's see how much time we have left. All right, so let me go ahead and share with you guys. We're not going to do a review, another code review, but I am going to give you guys another wireframe and some images that you can use to go ahead and practice on your own in addition to the dojo weather. So if you really want to practice, do the dojo weather on your own. Okay, do the dojo weather on your own without the help of the video that will be on YouTube of today's lecture. And let me go ahead and give me a minute here to link to you guys the another form of practicing that you can use. I'm going to link here the, what do I call it? Wireframe. Yeah. While I do that, go ahead and let me know if you guys have any questions while I dig this out. Give me a moment here to do this. Any questions you can help answer at this time?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
By when will I need to submit like the final required assignment? Because I know there's 7 assignments that are necessary, 7 core assignments in order to take the exam. Will that have to be by the end of the day today?
Yes. So if you finish it by the end of the day today, before class tomorrow, that's also allowed. Finish that, we'll check that you actually did it, and then you'll be able to take the exam. Good question.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, the core assignments are the ones on the Learn platform that do not have a P next to them.
That's correct.
Yes, the P stands for practice.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. I'm still pulling up this practice exam. So give me.
So we can't use a position relative for this test tomorrow.
Right. Don't use that.
If we run out of time on tomorrow, and then let's say we want to retake it on Thursday, do we get to pick up where we left off, or is
It'll
it
be
like
an
completely
entirely
restart?
new exam. It'll
Oh,
be a
okay.
new exam with the new exam code. That way we'll get a fresh start. Maybe some of the features that you tried to implement on the first exam will be on the second. For example, let's say you failed the first exam because you missed some JavaScript. Maybe the second exam will have some same JavaScript features. There's only so many JavaScript features that we can ask you to do because we've only shown you so many, but they've all been on the assignments and are all available on the Learn platform. Does that make sense?
At least 2 out of the 3 JavaScript for every exam you should have seen and done before attempting the exam.
Right.
Once we enter the exam code, is it a running clock that starts like 5 hours?
Yep.
Or sorry, yes.
Once you input the exam code, you will be seeing a clock over there on the top right corner. But remember that the clock over there is going to be in PST. I know that we have been talking about MST, but I think that clock is usually in PST. So make sure that you know like the time. So I would suggest you still have your own timer because I saw students, they saw that it's in PST and they thought it's in MST. So at the end, they thought they have an extra hour or they have one like less hour. So yeah, look at the clock, and I think it should be in PST. And they did mention over there for the clock over there as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, give me a second here. All right, let me share my screen. I am going to share with you guys this file, okay? And in this file, you will see something like this image, not like this, but directly this, okay? This is a practice for the exam, okay? You'll have this view, this image. It'll have some instructions for JavaScript, so let's show what this would do. For example, if you click, you'll have an alert message here. And this one, if you click join, it will remove the join button. And for example, this one, if you click any of the arrows, it will make the vote go up or down. Okay, this is a good practice for the exam. All the icons and images that you'll need for this wireframe are already in the folder, so you don't have to search. And that will be like the exam as well. All the images will be provided for you. So I'll go ahead and share this with you. Let me see, copy. And I will go ahead and paste it in the Discord channel now. But here you go. I mean, this will be a lot like the exam. So is this too intimidating? It shouldn't be. All right.
I have a
Okay.
question real quick,
It's on
Joshua.
the Discord. Go ahead.
For example, in the picture that you have pulled up there, the share button would technically be a link. So will that be something that would be looked after instead of it just having it as displayed there?
Which one exactly? I'm not sure what you're seeing here.
So in the first picture, for example, or just in general, yeah, the share buttons, would you be looking for that to be technically a link?
It should be, but if it's not, then it's not something that I'm going to penalize you hardly for. I'm the judge of the exam here. If everything looks as perfect as this and you forgot to make this an A tag, then no, I'm not going to bring the hammer down on you. But yeah, it is a link, so make it a link, right? You know how to make a link. You know how to take away the text decoration and change the color. It's only 2-3 rules there. We've done it plenty of times. So try to get it as close as possible.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other good questions? That was a good question, Brian. Yeah.
For like the two projects, like the X's, I guess, in the post, I didn't see an image for those or anything. Do you want us to like insert an image in there? Like, let's say if this was the exam.
On the image we're looking at, which X exactly?
So you see like under best of project week 2022, there's like that, where a video or an image would go, it's just a big X. Would you expect us to insert an image there?
Oh, right. Okay, so this doesn't have that image. Yeah, that would be an image you would search, right? It's just a male image. Maybe I could include that, but that's easy enough. You just go male image. And maybe in the images here.
You mean the image of the post, right? Like the cross, the image?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think for that one, you can just like search for any image you want and then just put it there, save it, and then do it on your own. But yeah.
Okay.
The exam will, anywhere you see a square with a cross in it on the exam, there will be a corresponding image.
Yes.
Yeah. So we will give you whatever image is supposed to be here. So you can technically use any image you'd like for this area. And this is for your own practice anyway. So take some images from Google, some male images, or any image you'd like. Okay.
So you wouldn't actually put the cross. You'd put the image that we give you in its place. That the cross just means this is a placeholder where an image should go.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we didn't really put all the images because, like, remember that this is not really something on the platform. It's just some extra practice that we feel like maybe we can just create some wireframe for you. So yeah, thank you, Josh, for creating this.
Oh, you're welcome. Any other questions? By the way, this is a tool called Balsamiq. You can create your own wireframes in the future when you're creating projects and you'd like to create a visual image that you're trying to copy on the HTML CSS. You can do that using this program Balsamiq. Spelled like this. Balsamiq. Oh, not the actual.
But try not to use it right now because usually the Balsamiq actually have 30 days of trial. So save it until you are working on your first project in Python. And in that case, you have 30 days of trial. And then, yeah.
Thank you. Forgot about that.
Yeah. And it's not the only tools for wireframe. So
but you can always draw one yourself on pen and paper. You know, that's also pretty easy, right?
Yeah, usually I use some other wireframe apps, but you will know a little more on your next stack and also on the advanced stack. So wait for it.
Yep. Whenever I have a project that I want to build myself, I will just draw it on a piece of paper. That way I feel like I'm creating it from scratch. Balsamiq's a good tool though. It's just like to draw. Okay. Any other questions? If not, we'll go ahead and end this lecture. And I think you guys should do well. You guys have been pretty good when you're in groups together. This will be your first Coding Dojo test. And it's a preview of the rest of the dojo. Okay. I'll tell you a personal story. It's not I'm not the most proud of it, but my first exam when I did the HTML CSS, I failed it. I think I got right under 8. And so I was really bummed out, but I took it the second day and I did great. And now it's a common thing, you know, and it's a no-brainer. So don't stress yourself if you fail once or twice. Okay, you always have another attempt. Don't slam your keyboard and so on and so forth. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys' attention. I really hope you guys do well tomorrow. It's been my goal this whole time to take things slow, not overwhelm you with information, and to give you guys the necessary information to pass. So I really want you guys to pass.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thanks, Josh.
Of course.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate all your help.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you, Christian, too. Don't forget about Christian.
Christian
Josh,
MVP.
And Heidi.
We love you too, Christian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Are you guys, Josh, are you guys gonna be in this meeting room tomorrow all day, or are you gonna be?
Yeah. We'll be in
Okay.
the Zoom call all day, and we'll be watching the Discord chat all day. So whenever you guys need help, you guys saw in the video, right, how to get our attention. If
Sure.
not, I'll post it in this Zoom chat. You can copy and paste it in your notes. And that way you don't have to stress about remembering that. So
And on exam day is the same for every stack. Try to make use of the channel instead of some DM message or the Zoom and ask for help, because during exam day there are a period of time that will be super busy with a lot of students asking for help. So it's easier for you to put everything on the chat, on the Discord channel. And if we found that, oh, we like someone actually helped you already, so we will have a check, just like what you just have. what you just saw on the like Discord. So this is how it's going to look like. And so that if you see that there are a lot of students before you and waiting for help, you know that you have to wait for a little while. But don't forget, if you need to get graded, make sure that you submit the zip file into the platform first. Yeah.
Right. And if you do need help being graded and you are waiting, don't wait in anybody else's room. Don't let anybody wait in your room. Even if it's for the smallest reason, you know, get our attention. And if some emergency comes up, like your house is on fire, someone's breaking through the window, you know, say it on Discord or something, but don't jump in another person's room and then compromise them. And so, you know, hey, things happen. Don't matter where you live. Anything can happen to anyone. So emergencies happen. Yeah, that's bad if it interrupts your exam, but what can you do, right? So
usually emergencies happens the most during exam day. So anything happens. So even if you fail or it doesn't go as well as you thought, it is okay. It's exam day. But remember that exam is just another assignment with some time limits. If you can finish all the assignments, I'm sure that you can finish the exam. So don't stress about it because the computer can smell your fear. So
oh yeah.
yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. I believe in you. You can do it. And any other questions? If not, I'll go ahead and close the lecture. I'll stop the recording now. Thank you.